Well, this is the car. Everybody's been wanting to hear how I came about the 59 Dodge. So many of you people messaged me when this car popped up on Facebook last week, and super happy to be able to bring it home. So today I want to walk you through not just the car itself, but also the process and what I do when actually going and looking at a car, how I make a decision about whether or not to purchase a car or not. The 1959 Dodge is actually my favorite body style out of every car that I have. I have a 59 Dodge convertible that I daily drive during the summer. So this body style, particularly with the very aggressive front end, is an absolute favorite of mine. And when you drive it to shows and stuff, being a one-year only design, a lot of times people haven't seen it. So it's always super cool to take something like this to a show. So starting, it was Friday afternoon, about 12 o'clock. My inbox got flooded with people going, look at this car, look at this car, look at this car, what do you think about it? And it was this 59 Dodge in a town about an hour away from where I live here in Burlington, North Carolina. It was for sale for $27,000. That's a price point that almost makes you question a little bit the validity of the ad. And anybody that's bought on Facebook Marketplace, we've all had an experience of either chasing ghosts when it comes to things like that. And if you've sold on Facebook Marketplace, you know how difficult it is a lot of times to actually have a real buyer. So I messaged the person immediately, told them that I was very serious, that I would like to be able to see the car immediately. The earliest they would be able to see it is Saturday morning. I'll be honest, I was nervous either that the car would get scooped up or that somebody else would block me from being able to buy it. But he assured me that this was, I'd be the first person there. So I messaged Dad and I said, Dad, we're going on a field trip in the morning. We're going to go possibly buy a car. So of course, Dad's all about it. So we pull into this guy's house. He's 85 years old, absolutely amazing guy, tons of great stories, has been restoring cars his entire life, and even today is working on a 1930 Cadillac. And as we pull up to the car at distance, I was already really excited because it looked like it was, a pretty good car. But I'm going to tell you what I do when I first walk up to a car and the way I evaluate something as to whether or not it's something that I'd want to be able to purchase. I'm heavily invested in the cosmetics of the car. Anything mechanical I have less concerns about because we can usually fix all that and I'm not too worried about it. I have no desire to really get into paint and body work. And as coming up to the car, everything looked pretty good. All the chrome looked really good. The stainless looked really good. One of the first places I'm gonna go on a car is actually this piece right here. So on almost any car, this is one of the more difficult pieces to actually get out of the door and go and get re-chromed or redone. And it's a great indicator to me about the car's history. Because if somebody says they fully restored a car, if this piece has not been taken out of the car, you at least know there was a point where they stopped. Whereas if this piece has been replaced, somebody had to do quite a bit of work. They took likely the whole door panel apart, maybe went inside. And so for me, that's always a place that I go. Looking at the car paint-wise, it's a good paint job. It does have in the lower parts here quite a bit of bubbling that's coming up through here. So we will likely go and get that cleaned out and reshot and likely bring it from about right here, maybe all the way to this part and blend it all in to get that taken care of. That'll happen likely over the summer. But as you come into the car and take a look, one thing I love about 1959, the brands, across all brands, were really big on accessories. And with Dodge, you had the swivel seats, which is always really cool. Now, we've done absolutely nothing with this car at this point. Haven't cleaned anything, haven't done anything. The owner of the car said that he got out of Texas, out of Levelland, Texas, about 15 years ago, and said that the car was a brown on brown color. And then he decided, being kind of near Chapel Hill, I think, and liking the colors blue and white, this is the color scheme he ended up going with. Now, he actually used to have one of these when he was a young kid in his late teenage and early 20s years, which is why he ended up buying this car in the first place. So as you go in and look, the steering wheel appears, to have been aged quite a bit. I'm kind of curious where he got it because this was originally a black and white interiored car. And this will be one of the things that we end up replacing. We'll replace the steering wheel on the car, and then also around the dash, there's a piece of trim there that we'll end up going and redoing, and there's the Dodge piece that comes across. I'll likely end up finding another one of those just to spruce it up a little bit. I like for the interiors of the cars obviously to look nice. It is a non-power option car as far as the windows, which I actually like. That's less things to break and have to deal with. The headliner is sagging in it, not too big of a deal, all stuff that we can go in and be able to fix later. So, but in 59, everything was about accessories, and this is the mid-level car in the lineup. Here in the trunk, he's pretty standard. Like I said, we've done absolutely nothing. He redid some of the material in there, which is kind of a pain to get to. And he had his traveling goodies that he had just in case he had any issues on the side of the road or ended up having mechanical issues and whatnot. Got a little miniature service manual. Now, this car does ride on bias ply tires, and there's people who love bias ply tires and there's people who hate bias ply tires. I'm on the hate side of that situation. So these tires are about 15 years old, probably didn't need to be driven on, but you know, oh well. As we come down the car, there's a little bit of a crack here in the paint. Nothing too terrible, but you know, a little bit there, and we have some of it right here as well. Once again, not bad at all. This is obviously an excellent car that shows of being driven some and having somewhere. It's not a full 100% you know, restoration, but a really, really well done car. And we have some of that same bubbling going in through here. So this will be a part, you know, that we end up redoing is all through there. And as you look, and one thing you're gonna see in cars at this age, if you're not familiar, smoking was a big deal. So it was good if you were sitting in the back seat of your car, you could have people be able to, you know, enjoy their cigarette. Although with the wind out here today, I don't know that anybody would be smoking too much. But as we work our way to the front of the car, everything up here, you know, looks fantastic. It does seem here we've got, you know, a little bit of bodywork issues that are right there. Nothing too crazy though. Now, in 59, you had a couple of different options. In the base model, you could actually get what was a 59 only option, which was like a 326. It came in the Cornet. And then you had the Royal, and then you had the Custom Royal. Custom Royal being the top of the line, had a lot more options. And this is a Royal, so it's the mid-tier car. So it's got a handful of options, some stuff that's been added. Some of the mirrors have been added, the dual rear antennas have been added, the Speedminder speedometer's been added. So a bunch of little things like that, but it is a 361 two-barrel, so not a ton of power. But it cranks up, runs fine. I'm super, super happy with it. The only thing we'll do in the short term is to go through, make sure fuel system is good. We'll rebuild or check all the rubber and everything in the front end. Get some modern tires on it, some radial tires. When we came to an agreement on the car and I paid the gentleman, I didn't try to chew him down. I paid him exactly his asking price. We didn't check anything. Didn't check air in tires, didn't check fluids. We didn't do anything. Dad and I got in it with my girlfriend following me in the truck, and we drove this baby home. And by driving it home, I mean, I did a lot of this while going in a perfectly straight line. The radial tires, we didn't get over about 45, 50 miles an hour. Quite a bit of wandering. But overall, I'm super, super happy with the car. I'll send it to detail shortly. We'll see how it turns out. I'll get those pieces fixed in the lower rockers, and then we'll detail everything inside the interior. We'll check all the stuff that I mentioned. And then over the winter, we may pull the engine out and just detail everything underneath the hood. The engine is supposed to have 65,000 miles on it, according to the owner. He reset the odometer, and it looks like he put about 13 to 14,000 on it. So super pleased, super happy. And no, we're not gonna do any crazy modifications. If we were gonna do something crazy with this car, I don't know, we'd probably use something like what we have sitting over there, those big tires over there. But that's for another project on another day. And that's one of the cool things I hope you guys will enjoy about the channel. We're always trying to bring different stuff, everything from Steve going to the races and giving his accounts of stuff to the boys racing, the stuff we're doing in the museum. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.
We were working. All right. Today's project has been tires and brakes. So we just mounted these up. That took about an hour and a half to unmount the old tires, which are sitting outside. We're trying a little bit different tires, wider and shorter. So a little bit more rubber on the racetrack. I was told I didn't make enough horsepower for the tire that I was using. So we're a little bit smaller tire. And these are the brakes. So this is after 1 weekend of quarter-mile racing on these brake pads. 8 runs, and by the end of the weekend, the car was not stopping good. I was having to use the parachute most runs, and not really sure what happened. I think we might have just been using the wrong material brake pad. So we have these that I should have put on over the off season. We had them, just didn't get around to it, forgot about it. So we're gonna put them on now, and I already have them on that side. And you see, they're just these are made for a higher mile per hour vehicle. So hopefully they'll work out good for me. My brakes will be fine in the next coming weeks. We'll be doing some 8th mile racing, so I really won't need them as much then anyway. Yeah, I mean, other than that, we are redoing some fuel lines, redoing some air lines. Again, stuff I should have done over the off season.
You're learning.
Yeah, you know, we like to get one race in and then start changing some stuff. So, put a new throttle cable on it. Did new air lines for the throttle stop. And I'm waiting on a fuel regulator to come in. I put a fuel log on it. It's a regulator will screw on right onto that end. This is the old fuel line. I'll have to replace that. And it'll be a return system, so this fuel line will be replaced. Will go right into the regulator, and then another line will go right back to the tank, and it'll just be a full return system. That's a lot more commonly used. This is a pretty old school setup that was on it. But yeah, you know, get one race in, realize everything you don't like, and completely change everything in the next 2 weeks, and we'll go testing at some point whenever the weather turns around, and hopefully race next weekend. So we'll see how it does. So we just finished up the brakes and the tires, and now we're just waiting on the new fuel regulator that will be here at some point today. Once we do that, we can finish up our fuel lines, and we'll be ready to race. So we'll find a test probably Wednesday or Thursday next week. If not, then we'll just have to wait till Friday. We'll be racing at Rockingham. So that's pretty much where we're at. We have everything done that we think is going to be a performance upgrade, and now we're just making things neater. So redoing lines that are 10, 15 years old, and just trying to eliminate any future issues. So. Well,
Or what have you been doing?
can we at least get the Vaseline out of the video?
No, that's staying in there.
Yeah, right over top of it. Plain. It's because it's such a good day. This is being the blooper part. This is what you get filming when you have a house that's near the airport.